on to step 2 and I'm ready to create my patterns. I'm switching to a number 2 so that you can see them a little bit better, but you would be best to stick with a different HB or 2B so you can erase it a little better. That's kind of like a number 2. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put a pattern on my square, and I like to make my patterns with measurements because again, we're going for perfect geometry. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark every 1/2 inch. This is one good thing if you stick to making sure, like when you do your cubes, that if you stick with 1 inch or 1/2 inch measurements, it makes it a lot easier to do. And I also like to do it in, you know, this might be a little bit over, so I just kind of fudge it to where it's in the center. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch to my small one so you can kind of see, but I line them up because I want it to be as straight as possible. Now, when you look at that practice sheet, there are a lot of intricate patterns and you do not have to get that intricate. Some people like to, sometimes less is more. Now that's a little crooked, so I'm gonna fix it. One of the things that will help you, you know, this is a beginner class, and so I don't expect you guys to know how to do this yet, but you can keep control of how neat you make it. And that is something that will help you as you continue to take more art classes and in life. You know, those little minuscule things at the last minute, making sure that, like, I could have left that, it was only a millimeter off, but that millimeter off, when I, you know, it's not gonna get hidden. When I add more, it's gonna get accentuated. So I wanna take care of any problems like that now. So again, I'm gonna make my marks on here every 1/2 inch. I wouldn't go any smaller than a 1/2 inch when you're doing this. I think if you do, it gets to be a problem. So now I'm gonna go ahead and it kind of follows actually the lines that this made, which kind of was lucky for me, I think. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, I think on the end, I'm gonna go ahead and do a different pattern. So I'm gonna go ahead and divide this corner to corner. And then there was one that had a box within the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to guesstimate. Now this would be perfectly straight up and down again. So we have to remember that. I don't think I did that on this one. I'm gonna fix that. And then on the angles, they're gonna follow this angle. So if I just match this here and I keep it still, then it's gonna be the same. So I need to bring this up a little bit further. Okay. Okay. So that's just one pattern. On my curves, okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna use it to cheat. But actually, before I do that, I wanna go ahead and make marks. So again, on this, even this, I'm gonna measure, only I think I'm gonna stick to 1 inch on this. Let's see, now I'll go ahead and do 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of set this here. Now, if I didn't have something to help me curve it, you could fake it. It would just be very, very kind of careful because this is actually going to skew and I don't want it to skew. So I'm going to go ahead and start faking it here. And I'm just trying to keep it the same kind of amount of space in between. Now when you're doing one like these, it's a little bit harder to keep it perfect. So if you have a compass, that will help you, but you don't have to have one in order to make this work. All right. Now I could come back and decide to go the opposite direction. So I think I'll do that. I'm just gonna pick one and just kind of curve it. My curves are a little bit wider. Let's see, what did I do? Just kind of, I'm gonna kind of eyeball this one because I think that's what a lot of you will end up doing. I'm just trying to keep roughly the same amount of space. Sometimes it helps if you follow each one, or you can skip every other one. It just depends. So, okay, so I've got 2 of those done, and I'm gonna keep going on my shapes.